All right, welcome back to the Krāv Show. We're here this week with me, Chris. We got JRuss, and we have a special guest with us this week, Zach Vasnick, all the way from California. How you doing, Zach?
It's great, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Where are you calling in from?
The tunnel, Oceanside.
Oh, the tunnel. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
You're at work. I was at work earlier too. JRuss,
Yeah.
how's it going over there, man?
Good. I am at Skydiving Chicago. We are in full swing of Summerfest.
Don't even makes me so sad.
Yeah.
No, I want to hear about it. Tell us about it. I want to hear.
Let's see. It's been a great event so far. As far as I know, I mean, I don't want to knock wood even saying this, but I think it's been a completely safe event. There's been a couple of people doing somewhat silly things, but I think we're injury free at this point, which is really nice. There's they didn't quite sell out. I think it was like 594 tickets out of 600 or something like that. But altogether, around 700 people jumping, full swing. There was a plane. I think we're only using 4 aircraft at the moment. We'll probably bump up to 5 by the weekend. I've been doing, as always, beginner angle, but there's a lot of angle fly organizers this year, and I got to do a little bit of free flying today, which was super nice.
Nice.
I got to do an intermediate angle, which was really nice, just something other than
you never get to do
straight
those.
line. I know, it's great. We turned, we dove. It was really fun.
Oh, okay.
So that's good. Yeah, overall so far, really good event, and
So
just
I've been-
see everybody.
I've been keeping up a little bit on that that WhatsApp group, just because you had me in there from the LO, So I'm kind of living vicariously through that WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like there's a lot of people, a lot of beginner angle flyers. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I mean, every
That's
year
cool.
there's a ton of beginner angle, and we weighted it really heavily this year for beginner angle. And then actually what ended up happening is a lot of the beginner people from the last few years moved up to intermediate. And so intermediate was also getting really flooded. So just actually started today a different sort of sign up system for people to try and get a few more people up in the air more efficiently, not have like a feeding frenzy of trying to grab the organizers as soon as they get to the ground, but something that's a little more equitable with people signing up. The purpose of doing the signing up is Nick Fenner, who was on the podcast once. He wasn't stoked to be doing the sign up, but all the customers were really happy. Nick unfortunately hurt his shoulder maybe a week ago, and he's not able to do any organizing. So I was trying to put him to work a different way. But yep, lots of angle people. It's really popular.
And weather's been okay?
We were fully rained out. Well, not fully. We got a few loads in the morning yesterday, and then it was rained out the rest of the day. But today was beautiful. Little hazy. There was a really strong push from the northeast, and I think Canada is on fire somewhere, because we have a ton of haze and cloud. Not cloud, but smoke.
Yeah.
That cut down on the visibility, but not so much that we couldn't jump. We went on a tiny weather hold today, but so far, yeah, been good.
Cool. Well, okay. I want to, in just a sec, I want to introduce Zach and have him share a little bit about himself, and then we're going to get into some other stuff that I'm excited to talk with Zach about. But before that, I want to give a quick plug for Summerfest, because I went last year. That was the first time I had gone. Zach, have you been before? No.
Sure.
It's a very good event. If you've never considered it, you should. I was really, really pleased with how it's run. The drop zone, if you haven't been to Skydive Chicago, anybody, if you're listening, or Zach, whoever, you need to go check out Skydive Chicago. It's really, really, it is a great drop zone. And the event is, it's just super fun. Really, really safe. Like, I felt so safe. I was worried, such a big, huge event, a boogie. Like, in my mind, I thought, oh, this is going to be chaos. And it was great. It's really, really nice. So that's my plug. If you haven't been, next year you need to make plans to go to Summerfest. It's a great event.
It's a good one.
Next, can we please show off our shirts?
Yeah.
JRuss? So most of you guys listening, you guys know about Chicken Hawk. That was JRuss's bird that passed away a while back, and so we made up some T-shirts for Chicken Hawk. I love it because I'm excited.
Zach.
Oh, Zach! I should have sent Zach one. Just grab a Sharpie real quick, Zach. No, I'm excited because I can't wait to wear this shirt around, and it's a picture of a sparrow. No, yeah, chicken hawk was a sparrow, right?
Yep.
But it says chicken hawk. I love it. Like in my mind, it's the body of a sparrow, but the heart of a chicken hawk. Like,
That's what she had.
yeah. So, all right. Well, Zach, share with our listeners a little bit about yourself. What do you want people to know? What's it like to be Zach Vasnick?
I had a feeling you'd ask that, but I have no idea really how to answer it in a concise way. So, well, cheers to the bird, chicken hawk, and I guess if you need to know something about me, I've been I've been loving flying in all sorts of ways for 12 or 13 years now, and I work at the Oceanside Tunnel since we opened, since before we opened, I guess, and it's been a just super fruitful place to be in Southern California in general for all sorts of flying. So I'm super fortunate to have locked this down especially in the way that I have, because the team has been amazing and really added value to like my whole flying career, which I guess now it is, which is a little bit weird how that career thing kind of sneaks up on you with this sport. But like, some people, they enter it and they just know that they're going to be lifers, and here we are, like, still doing it. So yeah, super fortunate. Oceanside is awesome, and I do need to get to Summerfest, I guess, at some point, because
Yeah.
it sounds like it would add value to that as well. So
And when did you start? When did you start jumping? How long have you been jumping?
I guess about 12 or 13 years, but it was in the ranch, Skydive the Ranch, No Rules Ranch, if you want to call it that. It was back then for sure. I don't know how it is now. I haven't been back in a long time, and that was 2012 or so, I think.
Is that New York?
Yes,
Okay.
Gardner, New York, and I'm from Connecticut, and I was equidistant between Connecticut parachutists and that little club drop zone, and skydive the ranch. And I don't know, when you're 18 looking to do a tandem, it just sounds cool to go to the ranch. So you go to the ranch, and the Shawangunk Mountains are over there too. So yeah, started back in 2012, I guess, and I was on the Yukon skydiving team, the collegiate team. I transferred colleges as soon as I found out they had a team, uh, and I joined that club sport. Got
That is
to
awesome.
milk
I
that for
love
a
that.
little while. That place is amazing as well. Yeah, like another super fruitful place. Not like Army or Air Force Academy or anything, but still, like, you got to interact with loads of really high quality people in the sport. So yeah, so I was in Connecticut for a little while, and then had to make the change, obviously, because you just want, I don't know, we humans, we just want more of something. So, but unfortunately, like, the longer I'm in it, like, the less unique and special I feel, of course. So, like,
Mm.
fortunately, but unfortunately, actually, it kind of like releases a weight off your shoulders in some way. Um, but yeah, skydiving and then paragliding and um, like, I guess flying in the tunnel has now kind of become a separate sport in itself as well. So has been
And how
cool.
did you end up in California?
I thought I wanted to be a tunnel instructor just to get better. I had spoken with Ryan Risberg a long time ago, and he had mentioned some, just dreamy ideas to me at the time. And like, he was infectious enough. So I was pretty convinced that I should be a tunnel instructor, I guess. But I was told only to do it for about 2 years and then get out, which I don't know. I don't know if I trusted that fully, but I had some people telling me that.
And how long has it been now?
Well, it's been 8 years at this tunnel, and this is the only tunnel I've been at. I'm not an instructor though. I'm still not an instructor.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm the manager.
Were you ever an instructor?
No,
Oh, I thought you had been at one point.
no, I did not do it yet. I should have
Okay.
when they gave me the opportunity, maybe, but it worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still working out.
And who is the owner of that? That's a franchise, right?
Yes,
Who is the
Rob
owner?
Rob and Melissa Blomsness. They're
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they actually
yeah.
live here in Bernie, where I live.
Mm,
We met
right.
a few years ago, just kind of by accident. I was wearing an iFly shirt and went to some little thing. I can't remember, like a little flea market type deal.
Yeah.
And he and I started talking, and uh, I haven't run into him in quite a while, but yeah,
Yeah. I forgot that you guys met, but they moved
yeah.
back here and now they're traveling a lot.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hadn't talked to him in probably 2 years or so.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, JRuss, you just chime in, interrupt whenever,
Yeah,
man.
sure. It's 8 years at Tunnel. What and it, but iFly franchise that's not on. I mean, it's not a corporate tunnel. You guys are an independent tunnel, so there's a possibility that you've become quite a good flyer in that 8 years because they let you fly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Possibility.
yeah, I also started working at the tunnel because I wanted to get better, and they let us fly as instructors. So I was pretty stoked about that. But in 8 years of, like, do you keep track of your tunnel time? How much have you flown? Where are you at?
I don't keep track. I'm hundreds of hours deep, of course, but
Perfect.
I don't keep track.
Cool.
Yeah.
And before we were on the air, Zach said that we had met briefly at the previous 200 way attempts. You were in the 200 way.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. I'm sorry, it's a lot of people, and I didn't really remember. But are you coming to this one? Have you? No effort.
No, I'm well, after the last one, I made a deal that I would not pursue it with myself. I made a deal with myself that I'd move on.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. And do you mind me asking, like, what went into that decision?
It's tough, man, because you're like right here.
Yeah, it's okay. Man, Zach, we
Hey.
made mistakes. Like,
Hey, JRuss is tough. He's not a sissy. You can.
No, I know. Yeah, so it was something that it was a poster I had on my wall since I got it before I got my license of like the 164 way or whatever.
Mhm.
And years and years go by, and I moved here, I guess, in the hopes also to get ready for that. Like that, I put it up on a pedal stool, and realistically, I think what happened is I realized that I I was glad to pursue, but I didn't need what I was in pursuit of anymore. And so, yeah, I'm sure like this year it's going to go much better for sure, and I'm stoked to see it happen. But I don't need that thing that I was chalking it up in my mind to be, and I'm super content with that. And I felt like I gave a good effort, and I learned a lot at that record, like about literally about how to breathe oxygen too. Like shout out to Mike Bone for helping me out with that one. Holy moly. Going from like hypoxic on the first three jumps, gasping for air, leaving with that second floater, and then showing up at the formation, being like, "Oh my god, I'm here!" Like, okay, take the docks. Like, and he told me to put the tube in my mouth, close my mouth, and then breathe normally through my nose, so it would like fill up my nasal cavity with oxygen. So that was super cool to learn, and I had never had hypoxia issues before, but I'd never gone that high before. So yeah, good things to know. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think I had moved on per se.
So what, when you like that thing that you had kind of elevated in your mind, or that you were chasing, what was that, or what? Yeah, can you elaborate?
I told myself a really long time ago that I wanted to be the type of person, the type of flyer that anyone would like want to have on their jumps. I thought for some reason like that was important to me, I guess, for like not just the social nature of skydiving, which I was really appreciative of, but also for the my own like self worth in some way, and seeing what I could accomplish in the and so yeah, that was one of the skydives, right? Like I thought the teamwork associated with that skydive, and it being head down, I guess was cool. It's just such a pure form of flying, like probably the most like the cleanest. I feel like the cleanest form of flying, aerodynamically speaking. It's super cool to me. So yeah, I think that was what I needed. I needed to be acceptable on, not only acceptable but like wanted to be on any skydive.
Yeah.
And I had to kind of like come to a point where I was like, I think I'm acceptable enough, and I think I just want to enjoy, like, go back to being in pursuit of something is amazing. I think that's where we're all supposed to be at. Like it's a dynamic state that we're all supposed to be at on some degree all the time. Like we shouldn't really be static. No offense to VFS, but like the pun is intended. Yeah, I just think that like that's no longer the thing I need in order to set myself on the right pursuit. So
That's good, man.
Is there another pursuit that's caught your mind?
yeah, for sure. That's always part of it too, right? Like other things come up, and your attention focuses. So I'm not the type of person to like give 10% of myself here and there and split it all different ways. I'm probably going to pursue something pretty deeply, and the tunnel is it's a great place. Like the owners allow it to be. They don't micromanage. They allow it to be what it really should be in a lot of ways. Obviously, with some exceptions, but it's a great environment for growth, and I want to see this team grow to what it can be, and the community along with it. Like these guys are just you know a supplier for the community to grow, like a soil for the community. So yeah, focused on it.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Well, so I want to give just a little bit of a background on how you and I, Zach, how we got first connected back, I guess 5 years ago when I started Krāv. You reached out to me. You were actually kind of not the first, but one of the first people to reach out to me after Krāv was kind of going, and we had some courses out there and content, and this is how I remember it, and you can tell me if this jives or not. But you reached out to me, I think through Instagram, and basically just said, "Hey, I really like Krāv. I love what you're doing. The courses are great. I want to know if I can use some of this content
Oh yeah.
when I'm in kind of like camps or coaching and stuff like that with some of my students," is what you said. And I just remember at that time I thought that was so awesome. Like I thought it was so fantastic that someone was taking the content that we had worked so hard to create, and we worked so hard to make it really good, and that you were trying to find a way to use that to help other people get better, to be better flyers, safer skydive. I mean, exactly what Krāv is all about. And I remember like going in and telling my wife, like, check this out. Here's this guy in California. Like he's trying to use our content to help people. I just thought it was so cool. And I think I asked for your phone number or something. We ended up calling and talking on the phone a little bit. And so like, I just want you to know, like, it's important to me that you know the encouragement that was to me at the beginning of this journey for me. Like that was a big deal for me. And you weren't the only one, but you were one of the first that encouraged me in that way. And that's really special to me. And I think that's what we need for each other, just people, maybe just as men, like to encourage one another, support one another, and help each other in the things that we're trying to do. Because sometimes, you can feel alone, or you feel like, is this really worth it? Am I just wasting my time? Does anybody care? Like, is this stupid? And so thank you for that. And I mean that. That was really, really special.
Yeah. Cheers to you on that.
Thank you.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. Hey, that's fine.
I was like, I wonder. Wait, I remember reaching out, but I don't remember exactly how we started talking so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I want to talk about right now is a few weeks ago, or maybe it's been a couple of months now, we had another phone call, and we've had a few phone calls over the years, but our most recent phone call, we started talking about coaching and organizing, and you started sharing some stuff, kind of that was just seemed like it was really on your mind kind of almost that you had really been thinking about a lot of stuff. And we didn't have time to really dig into it. And I was really, really interested to hear more from you about that. Do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
I do a bit. You're probably right. It was on my mind, and the primacy recency effect was harsh.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Well, so I want to hear from you, and I'm hoping that JRuss will have some input on this too, because we talk about this, but just coaching and organizing, what's the difference? Why are they? I'm just going to put out some things that I think maybe will kind of get you going a little bit.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Why do they matter? What should your attitude as a coach be? Your attitude as an organizer? How should you differentiate them in your mind? How should people that you're working with, students that you're coaching, or people that you're flyers that you're organizing, like all that stuff? What are the ways that maybe the skydiving community is kind of looking at them in ways that might not be the best? Or how should we adjust the way that we're feeling about them or what we're doing, the importance and what they bring to the table? All those things is kind of, I think, what we were starting to get into that day, but we didn't have time to really dig in on a phone call. Is that
Yeah. That rings a bell.
okay?
So, what are the differences? Actually, sorry. Let me just first. I think it's probably important to say that these are all just maybe feelings I had and opinions, and like ultimately it just depends what you prefer to make of your situation, and how you want to do, how anyone wants to do what they want to do. As long as it's like safety's in mind and bases are covered, I'm fine with you guys. I'm fine with organizing being something other than what I define it. Like, that's totally fair. um, Time and place for everything. It's like, unfortunately, a lot of this sport like is a bit of a gray area, and it's all, you know, being as you were just saying about Summerfest. JRuss is like so much angle flying going on, right? And it's like lots of beginner, like you got to do like one intermediate jump. It's like, wow, okay, yeah. So this thing is growing, which we love, but anyway, it's just like my opinions, and if you prefer something else for an organizer, that's totally fair. I don't make the rules, but I really find that there's a big difference between fun jumping with your friends and being the organizer of that jump, um, depending on the type of jump it is and all these types of things. Being affiliated with the drop zone through as an organizer, um, essentially a professional establishment as an organizer. I think that's different. Um, and then coaching, um, or being coaching like advanced flight skills, let's call them, or something like this, or just like advanced skydiving skills, and then being an instructor is also a very different. I think it's a different skill set. It definitely embodies or encompasses organizing and coaching at the same time, but it has more to it, right? And then in some cases, being a coach is actually going to encompass more of certain information than an instructor is even going to cover, right? Because a lot of instruction is literally that, the synonym for teaching. So I don't know. I don't know where to take it. We can start with like organizing, being the one to organize your friends. Um, does not mean that you're the one organizing at the establishment, and means that maybe it's not up to you to organize the load that you're on. Maybe that's a difference, or maybe you prefer to, or you prefer to engage in like a kind of a democratic way of organizing that load. That's great. I don't know what the drop zone culture is, so that might be something to take into consideration. Um, but once you take it on, like as part of what the establishment has in mind for you as an organizer, I think you need to understand what responsibilities are put on you now as an organizer. This is like very broad strokes, so sorry. Stop me at any time if you want, or add JRuss if you feel like you want to. Coaching is
Not a chance.
okay, and then coaching. Like, let's say you start to step into coaching. What does that really mean? Like, have you thought about what that actually means? Are you doing it from an organizer standpoint? Are you doing it like where maybe your slot is covered, or are you being paid to do that like professionally? Um, and what headspace are you in when you're coaching? And how easy is it for you to keep in mind all the operational, maybe organizer type things while you're also coaching, like with a private student or with like the military or whoever it is? So there's like a lot of differences here, and there's a gray area as they blend back and forth between each other. And then obviously being an instructor, like there's a USPA definition of what they're going to be doing and teaching. So maybe organizing doesn't even include teaching. Coaching definitely includes teaching, but like some coaches say, I barely coach body flight or I barely coach skydiving technique. Most of what I'm coaching is like the person. And so like what goes into this, and what headspace are you in when you're professionally doing your job, or when you're shifting back into an organizer mindset?
How do you think, do you do a lot of coaching right now?
Yeah, right now I do.
Okay, is that mostly in the tunnel or at the drop zone, or
No,
both?
I do not coach in the tunnel. I don't think it's appropriate for non-instructors to coach in the tunnel.
Okay.
I think they can add value to pro flyers for sure, but I just don't think it's generally appropriate. And I don't really think, I think it might stir up some weirdness too between like the staff and me. And I kind of would like to just keep this the way it is. So I don't want to like muddy the waters in any way
Yeah.
as well. Um, Definitely
So
been asked, but I don't think it's totally appropriate because I don't know what I don't know in that sense of not being an instructor.
Yeah. So the coaching you're doing is exclusively at the drop zone.
Yeah, so I was an organizer. I was an organizer at Go Jump Oceanside for a while, and I was super stoked on that. They basically like Randy Lund basically like handed me the key to the the kingdom or whatever you call that, and I was like, wow. And he gave me like a whole speech, and he laid it out for me like responsibilities, and um, it was almost ceremonial. It was really cool to me at the time. So I took that like pretty seriously, and eventually after that, it was 2020 when Team Horizon was formulated by like co-founder Chris Patz, and he more or less just told me like, you're coaching my next camp. I'm like, you're doing it. I'm not taking no for an answer. And I was like, oh boy, like not ready for this, and had no idea I would be like paid at all. I was like,
What's Chris Fikes? Do you know Chris Patz?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Wow. Zach's face, I love
it. I mean, he's a great dude. But if Chris Patz stood over me and said, I'm not taking no for an answer, I'd probably do it too. He's this big human being, and he's super friendly. But if he said that to you in an intimidating voice, you'd be intimidated.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
You don't know Chris Patz? Wow. Okay.
No.
He would be outraged if he knew that you did not know who he was. Okay.
Okay.
And no offense to him. Like he's amazing.
I'm going to look him up right now. Hold on. Keep going. Keep going. Patts?
Patz.
Patz.
Christopher Patz. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if he's like
Chris Patz.
Not around much anymore.
I'm looking him up on Instagram. Got it. I see him.
Okay. Yeah. So he started Team Horizon along with Bo Kaler and Jesse Jaber and David Lang, which maybe you know them, maybe you don't. I don't know.
Yeah, Jesse Jaber, that name.
That's 4 rippers on the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they drug me along, and I think it was pretty clear to me pretty quick that like I wasn't ready for that. Maybe I was ready from like an organizer perspective, but from a coaching perspective, like no shot. I look back on that and I'm like, that was 2 years of coaching their camps that I'm like, I wish I didn't. Wow, I used to talk about exits like this, or like I treated that person like I've kind of ignored that person maybe too much. Like I didn't give them enough, or I gave that person way too much. Like that was horrifying as well. It's just as bad to give too much. So yeah, just I look back on that time and I'm like, that was so much learning, which is great, but yeah, probably shouldn't have been doing it. I don't know. Maybe other people would say otherwise though. It's just not the way I would have preferred. Is basically all I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, you mentioned a few things right there, but how have you changed in your coaching style or coaching, like just philosophy, the way that you approach it, and maybe even just you as a person? Sounds like you are somewhat different than when you first started out.
Yeah, definitely different. I mean, I'm older now, so I'm not a I'm not a 19-year-old skydiver anymore. So that's funny. But I don't really have a coaching philosophy per se, or at least I never really thought about it. Actually, when I filled out your website's coaching
Yeah.
thing, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. He's making me write this down. I'm more of a yapper and less of like a writer. So I don't have one really. I think if you could put a tone on it and be, I'm a gray area kind of coach. I'm gonna paint you different pictures and try to see what you're picking up that I'm putting down and like which strokes make sense to you and like, and then I'm gonna take that and run with it. Like I'm a little codependent maybe. I'm like I'm feeling this way about this person today. Like I'm gonna dial certain things back. I'm definitely not as dogmatic as I used to be about flying. I think everyone kind of goes through maybe a bit of a dogmatic phase once something's really working for them, and that's probably good. It's probably a natural phase. I'm sure it's a natural human psychological phenomena, but yeah, I'm a bit of a gray area in terms of coaching.
Hmm.
I'd like to go technical. I'd like to go basic, but ultimately, I think a lot of people end up coming back to just like just like people come back to cliches. Like cliches are cliches for a reason. It's like I end up coming back to the same fundamental type of things with just like a higher level of proficiency or precision. And um, I hope that people pick some of that up. And then, of course, like you're coaching, so throw in some non-serious stuff once in a while if you feel it's appropriate, right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes people, it's what is it, the carrot or the stick kind of analogy. They
Yeah.
need the carrot or they need the stick. So I don't know. I'm neither and both at the same time. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. JRuss, what's on your mind?
Well, I was just thinking about a bunch of different things, but I think Zach's probably correct that it's an evolution when you start coaching. I mean, if you're going to do it, everyone's got to start somewhere. And I don't know what I don't remember what I was telling people 20 years ago. Only that I'm sure it was not what I would be telling them today. And I think that for anybody who Zach sounds like you've been doing it a while, and I think it's a testament, number one, that Pats and Jesse Jaber and Bo Kaler and David Lang, those guys, if they saw something in you that you didn't see in yourself at that moment, that's them being coaches as well, and experienced coaches at that, and thinking that you're ready for something that maybe you didn't think you were ready for. But sometimes you just got to get thrown in that pool, and if you've got the confidence of the people around you, that's a big first step. But for anybody that's listening to this who is thinking about getting into coaching, I can tell you after a long time of doing it, you don't arrive at this special place where now I'm a coach. It's your learning is right along with the people that you're teaching, and if you have more information about this specific thing that we're doing, they might have more information about being a good person, or you know what I mean? Like it's almost always a two-way street with your students. And I don't know that any of them are expecting perfection. I think they're expecting you to deliver the best that you can, which I think most coaches do most of the time. And if that evolves over the course of time, that's also just being a coach. You take in more information. I think it's great that when you do start coaching, that I think you pay a little bit more attention to other coaches. And in that way, your toolbox expands. You start seeing the methodologies that other people use, and some of it's good, some of it's not so good, or it doesn't jive with you, and you add that to your toolbox, and in that way we all grow. But I think it does take turning the corner of I'm just along for the ride, or I'm just taking in information, to I'm going to start delivering information, to make that transition to really paying closer attention to what other people are doing. And so a bunch of different things in there, but I'm guessing that a lot of people I see that, one of the greatest things about this Summerfest, I just got interviewed today. Two of the people that a couple of years ago, just 2 or 3 years ago, were in my beginner angle groups trying to learn how to angle fly. One of them's a wingsuit coach this year, and one of them's a belly coach. And it's super cool to see that and know that they've kind of turned that corner into taking in information. And now I'm ready to give a little bit of it back. It's a great part of continuing to be at Summerfest. So, I think it's important not only for you to hear, but other people as well, that you might not feel like you're ready, but if somebody that's a little bit more experienced than you says, "Hey, I think you should give it a shot," they're seeing in you something that they know is good. So that was what I was thinking.
That's a great point. I don't know if I knew it at the time, but maybe it was innate in me that like I went along with it because the support was overwhelming, and it's been like that throughout, like learning lots of different things in skydiving. If it's like swooping, especially, or like, just any sort of like advanced technique, I think is people, once it seems a little bit scary or out of your realm, maybe that's a good thing. They're just stretching you to that point, and letting you know that there's some confidence behind you, and that's what you need to get you through. But yeah, in a lot of ways, I think so much of it was developing at the time too. Like this was 2020, so the coaching realm like boomed after 2020, for sure. Like, I don't think it was nearly what it was today before 2020.
And if it lands with you, Zach, I can tell you that I've been coaching a long time, and a lot of students. When I'm in the presence of someone, say like a Ray Kubiak, a Jason Peters, I'm not saying a fucking word. I'm keeping my mouth shut, and whatever little nuggets I can pick up from one of those two, I'm taking all of it. And I won't claim it as my own. I'll give them credit maybe, but whatever tools they have in their toolbox is a hell of a lot bigger than mine. Yeah. So it doesn't. I hope it never stops. I hope I never arrive at a point where I'm like, okay, now everyone's learning from me, because that's just not the case.
Yeah, that's harshly true. Yeah, best instructors understand the two-way street for sure, and coaches, and just people, I guess. Yeah. I'll also include. Sorry, it's been on my mind now since we started talking about Horizon. So those were like kind of the founding members, and then Emma Jaber joined the team not too long back. I just needed to add her in there,
sure,
so that I don't forget.
A lot of good flyers there.
Shout out.
Do Zach? Do you know, or JRuss? Do either of y'all know Drew Steele? Do you know Drew? Zach?
Ooh, that sounds so familiar. I don't know why.
He's at Austin. He's been an instructor with iFly for a long, long time. I don't know how many years. I'm not going to guess, but he used to instruct at the Hollywood Tunnel a long time ago. And if you go look at go, all those old IBA videos that show you how to do all the different skills. Zach, you know what I'm talking about? JRuss, you know those old IBA videos? Drew is in a bunch of those videos.
Oh,
yeah. Drew is like, first of all, he's just he's a very humble guy, like, and kind, just a very kind-hearted person. But he's like, I've had the chance a few different times to get coaching from him, just different times. Like one time he showed up, this was, I don't know, quite a few years ago, maybe 2019. It was during the school year. So our tunnel was pretty much dead here at San Antonio, had no customers. And Drew just shows up out of the blue. Like he just walks into our tunnel and we're like, whoa, Drew, hey, what's going on, man? He's like, yeah, I've just been kind of traveling around Texas for the past couple of days, visiting all the different tunnels. And he was working at Austin at that time. He's like, yeah, I spent a couple of days down in Houston, flying in those tunnels. And I thought I'd stop by San Antonio, see you guys and hang out and see if we can fly together a little bit. So we spent like the next 4 hours. He stood in our tunnel, and all the instructors, because we had no customers, all the instructors, not all of us, but about four of us, we just rotated in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out for like 4 hours while Drew just coached us on anything that we wanted to work on, anything that we wanted to learn. And he did it with a smile and with laughter and joy, and just like, every once in a while, like after maybe every 45 minutes, he'd want a little break and get a drink of water. And but like that day for me was really impactful, because I saw someone who was very, very talented, very skilled, very experienced, had spent tons of time and energy investing in himself to get good, just sharing with others in a joyful way and humbly. And that was such a fun day to get to spend time with a coach that was really good and a good teacher, and made it so fun. Like that was just such an awesome experience for me, and it's kind of, I try to remember that sometimes and think about, like, I want to be, if I'm going to coach people, if I'm, even if it's, coaching soccer, with my boys at their high school, like I want to be that type of coach where I push people, I call them, to a higher standard, but I also make it enjoyable. Like, you don't have to be this hard-nosed, mean football coach, Um, but that's just such a good memory for me. Um, but you guys don't know him, do you?
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah, he's a really cool guy.
But I gotta say, Chris, I think that there's, I mean, I don't know. This is my first time. Well, not my first time. Apparently, Zach and I met before. Sorry, man. But I think that Zach didn't probably get into the tunnel to make money. I mean, you can make some, right? But nobody's getting rich working in the tunnel. And if you're going to start down the pathway of coaching and skydiving in the wind tunnel, honestly, you're not there to get rich. It's because you like to teach, and you like to help people progress, and that's part of your psyche. And you'll make some money along the way, but it will not really match up with the amount of effort that you end up putting in as far as debriefing videos and your own personal development and blah blah blah. It's just, you're not there for the money, and it's a bit like being a teacher. I think of grade school children. You're going to get paid crap. You probably need 3 jobs to make it work, but you love teaching people, and so you keep doing it. And so I don't know if I know Drew. I knew some of the Hollywood guys back in the day, and if he's been doing it a long time, our paths have probably crossed at some point. But I'm not shocked to hear that somebody would be loving teaching and stop into your tunnel and readily share their knowledge with you guys, because that's the reason they started doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Still a cool story.
yeah,
Love it.
it was a fun day.
Yeah.
So Zach, what would you say to, like, new coaches, young coaches, people just getting into coaching? What are the things that you think, or maybe what does that face mean?
You're making me nervous, man.
Or what do you like? Do you, because you talked about helping the guys, the team at your tunnel. I assume it's guys. Maybe you have some girl instructors too. I don't know. But you talked about wanting to see them grow, wanting to see them progress and get better. What are the things that do you help them as coaches? Do you, like, how do you pour into them and invest in them? How do you help them grow and become better?
Uh, Obviously, it just depends on where they're at. So reminding them where they're at is sometimes all that's needed, or reminding them where they can seek appropriate information, like from what trainers. Um, Especially if someone's kind of specialized. If I know a certain trainer, or just higher level instructor that's like really specialized in some things, making sure they get steered in the right direction. Just explaining kind of a little bit more about the big picture. Like, there's a big picture here. You can't see it. You're in the middle of the forest wandering around. Like, it's okay. You're supposed to be where you are. None of this is natural, right? Like, maybe you love teaching, but maybe teaching doesn't come naturally to you. And it certainly won't be, like, this stuff won't be natural. How could it be? Like, we've completely constructed this machine to it's a man-made machine to do a pretty unnatural thing. So sometimes, like, I guess if you want specifics, it's to remind trainers that like trainers come in all shapes and sizes, right? Like trainers can get L2 syndrome too, which is just intermediate syndrome. If you are from like the paragliding world, maybe that's what you've heard it called. Have you guys heard this term?
No.
Level 2 syndrome. Okay, so like what's the Kruger curve or something, where like you get a little bit of information and you think you know more than you actually know, and then you learn, time goes on, you learn more, and then you realize you know nothing.
Yeah.
Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger, thank you. Yes. So and then back down and continues, or maybe it goes this way. So that's a big one. That's a big general one, like L2 syndrome. So as soon as typically people hit that point when they're level 2, unfortunately. But it comes again, like T2s are going to hit it, right? T3s are going to hit it. It doesn't matter who you are. You're going to hit it if you're a human. So opening
I'm working on my T2 right now. Great. I'm going to do it.
Well, I mean, T1 is nothing basically, right? So
yeah, it's nothing.
T1 stuff. So basically like T2
is I can teach people how to run up.
Yeah, which is super important. Everyone should do that.
I can teach them how to do the class, which we don't really do anymore.
Yeah.
I'm the ruler of the world. Watch the run up.
I can teach them how to drive.
The tunnel works today. Yeah. So, I mean, actually teaching how to drive that's a wild thing all in itself. I mean, if you guys if you get to know me, you're going to probably get me off on like 10-hour talks. So I know you guys like to keep this
short. Go for it.
But basically, man. Like,
we want to hear it.
Just keeping in mind like that. I'm trying to keep people like within us, like their aperture or their scope. Like I'm trying to keep zooming it out, like zooming it back in. And then, so that's trainers, that's low level instructors, that's customer service reps. That's like the sales team too, right? Well, we're a sales team of 1, but that's myself. I try to do it to myself, although obviously that's really hard. And, I think in general, like if you want like an example, I was driving for a lower level instructor teaching an AFF student from Skydive Elsinore, and it was brutal. And not brutal because like he's a bad instructor. Instruction was fine, but the coaching was not there, and the awareness of what certain wind speed does to a student's like muscle memory, if you want to call it that, is drastic. And they're trying to perform, right? They buy 10 minutes. They're trying to perform as much as they can in 10 minutes. They're always trying to perform, right? But it's like, if you're an AFF student, there's like a lot of pressure on that 10 minutes because you came here because you were unstable maybe. But really, like, you can't get full range stability in 10 minutes unless you're like total natural.
And then you don't need the 10 minutes to get through AFF because you're probably already doing it, right?
Sure. Yeah. Maybe it was mental or something. I don't know. But basically it was a brutal session of 10 minutes. I gave the guy 5 more minutes. I said, we're not sending him away. Like, he can have 5 of my staff minutes. I don't care. Or I'll comp 5 minutes, but like, get back in there and stop giving me wind speeds. Like, let me drive and I will adjust. If I throw you a spot, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I'll catch it with the wind. Like, okay, I'll turn that knob. Don't worry. But like, stop adjusting the wind and let me handle it. You just coach him. And obviously that's not going to be a good protocol for like most times. Right. But it was at the end of that 5 minutes, like he was hovering by himself and he was super happy. And it's not because of me either. Like it was a team thing. So it's like, it's being able to see what minute wind speed changes can have on a person's, like, not only their muscle memory throughout the session, but like at what point in the session were they really tired in the beginning, or were they smoked from the first 2 rotations because you had them completely wrong at the wrong wind speed? It was way too low, for instance, because like now I'm engaging different muscle groups than if it's too high, if that makes sense. So like, generally speaking, that was just too low in that case. Like, he needed more wind, but like coach wasn't ready to see that yet. He's not super seasoned in the tunnel yet. He was at level 1 at the time. So it takes that environment around you, to really like make sure you're growing the community in the right way. And I think that was a great growth moment for me, but for them, obviously, of course. like for both of them. So that ended up being a whole talk, like that became a whole discussion. And then, some of the other trainers like probably had their own ideas about it, but that's like, I was not a part of that. I just said, hey, he needs like a debrief on this session. You guys want to debrief it? Go for it. And then like when trainers need to decide, like we just recently, last year, we leveled up 2 people to T4s, Liam Gaughan and Bhavani Selvaraja, and Ray Kubiak came out for that. And like, that's a lot of discussion, right? That's a lot of discussion outside the tunnel. So yeah, a lot more of that is needed than I think people stress about, like being able to do the thing in the tunnel or in the sky. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but I can't really tell you what you want. You seem to know what you want right now, but you're going to want something else later, and we're going to get there, but it's going to take certain scenarios to pop up, and then we can address the certain thing that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, so, something that I've seen at iFly for a while, and I think this is connected to what you're saying, is this idea that first of all, that you have to be able to fly something really, really well in order to coach it. And if you can do that skill really, really well, then you can coach it. And I've always questioned that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I've always questioned that because there's coaches all over the world that are coaching sports and are coaching activities that can't do it at all, but they're phenomenal coaches, right? Like Andre Agassi's coach was not anywhere nearly as good as Andre Agassi, but he was a phenomenal tennis coach. I mean, you got all these NFL football coaches. I mean, I don't know anything about football, but I'm assuming some of them are great coaches. They can't play, they can't throw a football, they can't make a tackle, they can't kick a field goal. And so this idea that, oh, just because, not just, I mean, that's an exaggeration. I shouldn't say that, but there is a somewhat of a sentiment that, oh, maybe that's more just skydivers like, oh, he's really, really good at whatever, he must be a great coach. Well, no, not necessarily. He could be a terrible coach, actually. He doesn't know how to communicate. He doesn't, you know, does that make, I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There you go.
I mean, so like, yeah, in general, that hits in lots of different scenarios. Where to take it from there is just a matter of, like, again, preference. If you're coaching something and it's like you're really more of you were, let's say, what is it called, the curse of knowledge, where you've become so you don't know what it's like to not know something. I think that's called the referred to as the curse of knowledge. And so maybe you're not the best coach for that person at that time in their progression, because maybe you forgot what it's like to be in their shoes.
Yeah.
Or maybe some people just totally know what it's like to be in their shoes and they're not very good at the thing. So that's legit. That can happen.
Yeah. And I think maybe the frustration that I'm feeling with iFly is that there's, and maybe it's just my experience in my locale, but like wanting to make sure that you know the correct spotting techniques, which obviously you have to do that. Wanting to know that you understand the technical aspects of flying, whatever, a back layout, right? Okay, totally cool. But the actual coaching aspect, like what it means to be a good coach, to communicate information to a person in a way, and that's where I've seen, and I don't know what the solution is, but that seems like there's a bigger need for that. Like, how do we help each other be better at actually coaching one another? Like, because part of it, like, you got to go through all those years of bad coaching, like me, and because I've seen that in myself too. Like, not that I'm anything special right now, but that I look back like, man, I was not helpful at all. But part of it is you do have to go through that. But if you have someone helping you walk through that and learn, like, how do we do that better, you know?
Yeah, support systems are super important, and iFly just can't do it because to your liking, I guess, or to your preference right now, because they're so big. They're scaled up beyond what I don't know how much experienced flyer time they're actually doing these days. But no matter what it is, like it's way more than what we're doing here. And so like we have this community, this localized community, and scale is super important to like what techniques can work in order to grow in the way that you're preferring right now. You're yearning for. So this is like I think most people would agree like this is the type of thing that doesn't scale. I mean, we've already skydiving is getting bigger, yeah, but it's still like pretty small community overall. Um, and iFly's got a tough job to make a very gray area, like non-structured learning thing into like a structured learning progression. And then to do that also for instructors and trainers, holy smokes, like that's a tall order for sure. And as soon as you lose one sage master on the team, they're like, oh boy, you don't just get another one of those. Like finding one of those is tough. So fostering that is really important, and it's really difficult, and it's complex. And I don't think it's the company's like number one concern. If it was, they would probably be doing a great job with it, like you're saying. But I think there's so much else that goes into it, and like we have mic'd up helmets here to use with students, and like still people, it's when they use them, it's great, but they struggle. They don't really want to use them a lot of times. So that's kind of a barrier in itself when you're talking about communication. Like even simple communication is a barrier. So it's a complex thing.
Helmets, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
JRuss, you looked like you had something to say.
I mean, lots to say, lots to hear. I was thinking about the idea of coaching that you guys were talking about, and back to the beginning of the podcast, or close to the beginning, when Zach said that he doesn't coach in the tunnel for a variety of reasons. And I remember hearing from my FITP was run by Rusty and Joe Winters. Rusty's still in iFly. Some of you guys probably know him. Joe Winters, I don't think he's working in iFly anymore, but just kind of a couple of the OGs of trainers. And Rusty worked with us for a little while in Colorado. And I remember clearly him saying that he felt that someone who was going to coach head down should be able to fly head down themselves. And I don't know if that's disagreement with what you're saying, Chris, about a tennis coach. Andre Agassi's tennis coach, I think his name was Bollettieri, and a head football coach. I mean, we can assume those guys played tennis or played football, but not at the level of the people that they're instructing. And so I think that there's a happy medium there on that idea. Like you don't have to be maybe the world's best head down flyer to be able to teach head down, but I do think some experience with it is good, to be able to share some of the nuance of what it is, other than just the, strictly speaking, the body shapes or what you're presenting to the wind. And so I was chewing on that most of the time that we were talking about other stuff, just whether or not I sort of agreed with that statement. And I think that's what I was thinking about.
Just for clarification, what I was getting at is more overly focusing on that rather than to the detriment of what does it mean to be a good coach? How do you be a good coach? Like you can't just learn the skill and be able to do it, and that makes you a good coach.
Certainly not.
And so that's I think my frustration is that, okay, I get that. That makes sense. And I do agree with that to a certain extent. But that doesn't, if that's your focus, if that's all you're going to do, well, no, teach me how to be a good coach. Like, how do I actually help people get better? That I think that's my frustration, or where I see a lacking.
Well, I haven't been in the tunnel business in a while, but Zach, do you feel like, it's tough, right? Because you're a franchise, and that's outside of the corporate experience. And so I think they offer guidance to you guys, but you can kind of take it or leave it as long as you're paying the royalties. Or do you have to stick to what they say?
You're correct, kind of in both realms. So our insurance is different, separate. So we can do things differently. However, the fundamental is the IBA, because should something occur that's like an unfortunate incident, that's then going to go into the realm of like litigation. I believe you would still be held to the IBA standard, right? Because this is the fundamental structure in place, which is a good structure to base what we need on. And so we do, like, we hold the IBA, and then we hold a gray area when we're coaching. Um, the bases are covered, and then there's additional to add on to it depending on what this person wants to learn. Like, do they want to learn how to transfer these skills to the sky? Cool, then we're going to teach it totally differently. Do we want to optimize this skill for the tunnel to get you doing it as quickly as possible in the tunnel? Okay, well, then it's going to be different again. Or like, do we want to simulate an exit, like out of a plane? Cool, then we're going to teach this a little bit differently. Or so, I mean, it's totally,
Yeah.
spotting and all that stuff is taken care of, and then we operate in addition to where we see fit. And I think, like, so far so good. All right, so far really good. I guess.
Yeah.
To your point, I think, Chris, sorry, before I forget, if you want to teach people how to be a better coach, probably the wrong question to be asking, like, how do we teach coaches to be good coaches? It's more so like, how do we teach people to understand themselves a little bit better? Is probably is a difficult also, but like better frame, I think, to go for, because like, how am I going to coach you if I don't really know myself? Like, how I react to things, what I'm aware of, what's around me, like how am I aware of you, like as a student? So, and then, it's a team effort from there. But yeah, just have people. I think people don't ask enough questions, like specific enough questions. It's easy to have questions and be confused. Like, I'm confused all the time. I'm thinking about stuff all the time. But to find the questions is really difficult. So this is a great way to do it. Like, this is the modern bonfire right here. So I'm glad you're creating this space for it. This is one way to do it. Good job.
I guess I was thinking about, so the marriage, Chris works for a corporate tunnel and you do not. And I think that, again, I've been out of it for a little while, but just getting to Chris's point of a little frustration about teach me to be a good coach. When I was started being an instructor in 2005, early 2005. And the culture, even at corporate iFly then, although Denver was a franchise, the culture was about building up from within. And hey, let's make our instructors really good themselves. Let's get them coaching. Let's promote from within. And so as our level raises, the level of our customers can also come along and be raised. And I think that one of the things that continues at a franchise tunnel is the freedom to reward employees who do a good job, who bring more business, who are knowledgeable, and continue to hold on to those employees. And I think that there's been a cultural shift at the corporate level that has devalued the instructor and taken a little bit of a back seat on developing those skills. Mostly, I mean, I think a lot of it is financial. A lot of it, we don't want to pay people more money. We want to keep low-level instructors. And so, like, we're not allowed to fly in Chicago anymore, but when we did, the last year, I don't know, like from week to week, I didn't know who was going to be the instructor. And there was one guy that stuck around and basically held on through all of the BS that he was getting. But in that, taking it for the team. But, like, part of the reason we can't fly in Chicago anymore is because they have no instructors that can do high level flying. They just can't stand in the door. But Chris is at a tunnel that's corporate, and despite maybe not feeling like he's the OG, he's kind of the OG, but he's still wanting he's still wanting someone to raise his level. Feeling like, I think, if I'm not putting words in your mouth, Chris. So I think I think part of that frustration that he's expressing is on a systemic corporate culture rather than you need to go work at a franchise, Chris. You go talk to
I need to move to Oceanside.
Yeah, talk to Zach about
That's
Oceanside,
right. That's right.
or go work for Ray, or go work for Dusty at iFly Utah, or go work somewhere where they value your voice, they value your skill set, because your skill set means their customers are going to get a higher quality coach. They're going to continue to develop you. I mean, imagine learning from Ray, like. Every day you get to go in and just listen to Ray and his chewing his gum and teaching you shit.
All those one-liners. You're so great.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. But sounds like Zach's got maybe the best of both worlds out there at Oceanside.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fortunate.
Well, it makes me want to have a Krāv course on coaching, like just. And I hadn't thought about what you said. That's going to give me a lot to think about, knowing yourself, and some of the things that you just said a second ago. That's going to give me a lot to think about, because I had not framed it in that way at all. So I think that's really helpful. Do you want to say any more about that?
I think JRuss touched on it too when he mentioned the Denver days. So, yeah, that's going to be a long rabbit hole,
Yeah.
Ways to figure out yourself. I mean, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's a whole another podcast.
Yeah. For sure. Well, Zach, we normally go for about an hour, and it's been an hour and 6 minutes. So, is there any other burning topics that you want to cover? Anything on your mind that you want to go over before we sign off?
I love talking about like the forms of flying and how they all sort of translate back and forth. Whether it's like paragliding, because that industry has boomed and the wings are getting outrageous, and they to me, like, this is one of the things I coach is like how are we flying our bodies relative to how do manufacturers like construct wings, and so what kind of wing are we flying? And that's just a whole nother discussion, which we do not need to get into now. But just so people know, it's like the sport and like the way that we're thinking about things is definitely still progressing. It's booming. Coaching is booming. The industry is booming. However, it's going to need like a very fundamental baseline of it's going to need soil to keep growing, because it's going to. I love that one of the last podcasts you guys did with was it George from Firebird? Is that right?
Yeah.
And he, man, that guy, I feel like that guy kind of gets it. He's a good
cool.
one. That was a great podcast. And like, I mean, there's been a bunch of good ones, but he was funny. And I think he kind of gets that with like, oh man, skydiving is going to be like a sport for the rich or something. And I think there's ways that it can remain accessible with like, especially with coaching being so expensive. And I know JRuss has talked about ways like coaching is expensive, yes, but like uncoached time is also very expensive. So let's get you there. Let's get you there fast. And like coaches are progression oriented for sure, and that's important. And like, or I guess they are here. I'm just speaking for here, right? We want people to do really great things in a safe, sustainable way, like and quickly but sustainably. And I think that's where we're at a crossroads now with the industry, and whether that be with angle flying or just like tunnel coaching or lots of different things. So yeah, could go on and on, but it's a fun time. It's definitely a fun time.
Nice. Very good. Well, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. I guess it's time. You've done it again. You've wasted another perfectly good hour listening to the Krāv Show with Chris, JRuss, and Zach today. As we always say, get out there, jump out of an airplane with your friends, have fun, enjoy the sky, and Krāv. Do more, be better. Zach, thank you so much. JRuss, thanks, man. See you guys.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
See you guys.